Welcome to Football Discussion Daily. My name is Joe, and I'm here with the co-host
Gio.
CGO or George. Today's the 27th of March, 2026. Please, quick reminder: like us, subscribe to us. If you like what you see, we release long form on YouTube every day. That's 20-minute videos, and shorter form, 15, 20, 30 seconds on Instagram, TikTok, and other platforms. Today was a series of international friendlies. There was no World Cup qualifying, but a lot of teams trying to ramp up for the World Cup. I'm not going to read off the scores for all of these games. I'll read off some of the bigger ones. England drew Uruguay 1-1. Netherlands beat Norway 2-1. Switzerland lost to Germany 3-4. Spain beat Serbia 3-0. Going through these, there's a lot. There's like 25, 30 games today. So those are some of the bigger games. I'll start off with the one I'm most familiar with. And there's a couple interesting things here. This is Uruguay 1, England 1. There's a lot to talk about. First off, Ariel tackled Foden. A lot of people thought it was a red card. I think it should have been a red card. George, do you think this should have been a red card?
That's a clear red card because that tackle was a very terrible tackle, if you ask me. That's a tackle that can get a player out of action for a very long time, put them on the sideline. And every player's dream is to play at the World Cup. The World Cup is getting very close. And for Ronald Harayo to make such a terrible tackle on Phil Foden, I don't think it's something that should be encouraged. I was expecting that even if the center referee couldn't spot that incident, at least they had the VAR, would have reviewed it and then called the attention of the referee. But I was very surprised that he got away with it. We know that Ronald Arayo is used to reckless tackles like this. We saw him do that when Barcelona played against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. He made a very terrible tackle on
He got a red for that one.
And he got a red card. So I thought the same thing would have happened in this game, but I don't know what the PR was thinking to allow such a thing to just slide. And you will notice that after that incident, a few minutes later, Thomas Tuchel had to substitute Phil Foden, brought in Kopama in place of Phil Foden. So, which means the guy was really hurt somehow. But let's hope it's not something very serious that will keep him out of the World Cup. Because
it could be anything.
It could be anything,
George. No, it could be anything. It could be a precaution. That happens a lot when, especially international. This is the last time Tuchel has in a low pressure environment to really tweak his lineup and experiment. They'll have two friendlies before the World Cup in June, but the next competitive game in 3 or 4 games for England in 3 months is the World Cup. So I think Cole Palmer and Foden are both fighting for a spot. If they're both healthy, I think it'll be a really interesting battle. I think that Bellingham too is probably fighting for that spot. In my opinion, you can only fit one of those into the England lineup, and Foden really does not work as a wide forward in what Tuchel is trying to do. We'll see. George, next question. We've seen Tuchel got blamed for putting Ben White in over Trent Alexander-Arnold. Ben White scored today, and I feel like he's a more traditional fullback, and probably better at he's a jack of all trades. He's not bad at anything. Trent obviously is a very unique talent, probably a better player, but maybe harder to fit into a tactical hole that you're trying to have on the team. Like how whole you're trying. It's a harder puzzle piece to fit in tactically with a team, just because he's such a unique talent, even if he is quality. Do you feel like Tuchel is justified in leaving Trent Alexander-Arnold out of that lineup?
If you ask me for my own personal opinion, if I'm the coach, I don't think I will leave Trent Alexander-Arnold from that team. Somebody who plays for a very big side like Real Madrid is not a player you can just overlook. But if you look at Thomas Tuchel's way of approaching games, you see that he plays more conservatively. He's always more defensively conscious whenever he plays his opponent. Even when he was at Chelsea, that was the way he normally approached his game. And you will notice that one of the challenge he has with Trent is when it comes to his defensive duty, Trent is not. That's not one of his best strengths. So I feel Thomas Tuchel is more comfortable having somebody who would do the more of defensive work more than going for the attack. So I guess that was why the likes of Ben White were being considered ahead of Trent Alexander-Arnold. But if it's based on my own personal preference, I wouldn't exclude him from the team.
Joy, I'll just straight disagree. I feel like obviously Trent, it takes a lot of work and on the training pitch in order to maximize Trent's talents. I think that Liverpool and Klopp really did a great job by having Henderson knew for years, like, all right, Trent's going up, I'll cover back. Salah also, him and Trent had a connection over years. Were they the same team for 5 or 6 years, and they won everything, and it was very successful. I think that takes a lot of practice, a lot of discipline. Henderson, I think he played today.
Yes, he played.
But probably not quite the player he was 5 or 6 years ago. Even if he's playing for a better team in Brentford. But Trent is. I feel like international football in general too is more conservative. I don't think it is Tuchel. I think Tuchel's tactics is more suited towards knockout competitions and international competitions, and international competitions in general are more conservative. And so I also think on the flip side of this, Phil Foden is a better player than Anthony Gordon or Gerard Bowen. But I feel like because Gerard Bowen and Anthony Gordon are more traditional players with more traditional skill sets, might be a better fit for an international team. I don't think Foden has ever had a great performance from England, at least not the I've seen. Neither Trent. I mean, they've never been awful, but Trent in midfield did not work in the England setup. Trent has not been able to consistently face those long passes to his same flank or the opposite flank that he's been able to do in the club game for England. It's been very difficult for him. Foden has, and Foden too, again, just using an example, Foden hasn't really done great centrally or out wide for England in the past. I feel like Palmer and Bellingham and Gordon and are probably better choices out there. So we'll see.
But if I may ask you, don't you think the reason why Trent Alexander-Arnold and Phil Foden have been struggling in the national team is based on the fact that those coaches have not been able to play to their strength or use them effectively like we normally see them being used at their club side?
George, the whole point of what I just said, and I could have said this better, was it takes time and practice. That international teams have 2 or 3 months of practice a year to get right. That Liverpool had years of the same lineup, the same center back, the same right center midfielder, the same right wing in front of Trent for 5 or 6 years, and they got it right, and it worked great. It just takes a lot more practice with a unique skill set that Trent has. And I'll also say Foden is the same way. Again, they're quality, but they are very unique players and take some getting used to and take some adjustments. I also feel like Klopp and Pep maximized the team to get the most out of them, and it took a while, and it's not something you can get done. And they have 3 weeks of practice before the World Cup, George, and that's I feel like having a more traditional player is a benefit there. Thomas Tuchel's had a conservative team centered around Kane, and it's worked for him. He's got to a final, I believe, for England. Was he the coach the last final? No, he was. Southgate centered that team.
Gareth Southgate. Yeah.
Tuchel has not changed drastically, in my opinion, from where Southgate was handling the team. Also a very conservative coach who kind of, let's have Kane up top. So we'll see.
So, but today we had two guys whose names are James, making their debut for England today. James Trafford was in goal today. He got his first senior debut today for England. And also we had James Garner, the guy who plays for Everton. I think he played for about 67, 68 minutes in this game. And I think he had a very good game because he played very well. I was so impressed with the guy, with the way he played today. Do you think James Garner will stand a chance of making the final list for the English national team, considering the Harris of stars England has?
Yeah, I think that he'll make the plane. I think that Rice and Anderson are probably pretty set as midfielders, and Henderson probably has that third spot. I believe Henderson will retire after this World Cup, and Gardner will be right in the mix for extra minutes. No, I think there's no way that James Trafford plays. He'll be on the plane as backup, but Pickford has solidified his spot. What about you, George? Do you think that these guys will get minutes? Still get?
James Garner is a very good player. I've been watching him the way he has been playing Everton. He has been very good. I
He's
love
very good.
the way he shoots the ball. When he shoots, I love the precision of his shooting. And then when it comes to creativity, he has been good. That guy is a good player, but the problem is that sometimes coaches will always prefer the more experienced players, players who have played for the national teams for a period of time. It's not that the player is not good. Sometimes coaches don't pick you not because you are not good, but those who have been on ground, they are still doing very well. So that might be the only thing that will make him not to get into the team. But I see him as a player for the future for the English national team. But
And
for this World Cup,
Elliot Anderson has also been fantastic. And Jordan Henderson is not the player he once was, but is a great leader and absolutely a guy. And he's not a guy who can play 90 minutes every single game. Jordan Henderson will play. He will need subs. There will be minutes available. And James Garner is going to be right in that fight for them. It's going to be exciting. George, do you agree with my assessment, though, on the English? So I feel, let's say, look at the English front line. I do feel like that Saka spot, pretty locked down. Nobody's going to take it from him. I do feel like that Kane spot's pretty locked down. Nobody's going to take it from him. But we typically have a left wing and a attacking center mid that I feel like are very much up for grabs. And we've thrown out a couple names like Foden, Palmer, Bellingham, who are going to be in the fight for that. I feel like, George, I'm throwing something out there. I want your thoughts on this. I feel like they're strongest with Bellingham and probably Gordon in that lineup, just because, again, they're traditional players. I feel like it's very hard to shoehorn Palmer, Foden into that because they all fit most closely in that center attacking mid. What do you feel like about that assessment?
if you ask me, Cole Palmer was good today. I was impressed with the way he played today. But if you look at the way he has been playing this season, he hasn't been that consistent. But it seems the way Thomas Tuchel has been talking about him, I feel he has a kind of soft spot for Cole Palmer. So I won't be surprised if he prefers to play Palmer in that position ahead of others, because sometimes players might be very good, but coaches always have players they have more they are more attached to certain players. They are
Can
more
Palmer
comfortable using.
can Palmer play on the left, or does he need to play centrally to be effective?
I'm thinking Palmer will be more effective playing from the right or playing as a number 10. That's playing from the left. I haven't really seen much of Palmer when he plays from the left flank. The
I only
right,
say I bring up the left because I feel like Saka has the right flank pretty locked down in terms of a starting spot. He is one of the most solid starters for England, and barring an injury, he will certainly start for England. And Kane obviously up top leading the line, but I just don't think England can have two number 10s and Belling. And I feel like Tuchel and Southgate have preferred a Bellingham there.
so okay, you feel as a number, do you think Thomas Tuchel will prefer Bellingham ahead of Palmer in the 10 position? Is that what you're saying?
That is what I think, but I'm curious as to
Because because the reason why I'm thinking Bellingham may not, because Bellingham hasn't played much games in the recent time because of injury. So I don't know if a coach would like to bank on a player who has not been playing, uh, hasn't played much games this season. That's my concern. So that might give Palmer some cutting edge over Bellingham. I think
yeah.
his best position would be in number 10. That's my own thought.
And Palmer's a very different number 10 than Bellingham because Palmer is one who's looking to pass when Bellingham is he's better in the air both offensively and defensively. He's
Yes,
more a Lampard like who's going to make late runs in the box, trying to get
exactly.
the rebounds, the second goals. If Harry Kane draws in two or three defenders, he's going to look to Bellingham's going to look to crash and give Kane an outlet when Palmer is more looking to make the pass, more looking to control the tempo, more looking to draw those defenders in himself and give up the ball. So very different players, both very effective, both very fun to watch, and could be a very different England. So they'll be exciting either way. They're both quality, and Thomas Tuchel's a good coach, and there's a lot of good players in England. They'll be fine regardless, and it'll be exciting.
Yes, I agree with you on that. But come to think of it again, we have, I don't know if from the left side, Rashford is also a good option. Today, I feel he had a very good game today, if you ask me. Rashford was from the left side. I saw a lot of impact he made. He made a lot of dribbles. He made a lot of passes. He was very good today, if you ask me. So Marcus Rashford is a player that can also play very well from the left side of
Personally,
the field for England.
I think that. Well, I mean, Gordon is somebody who, if you tell him you're not going to start this game, Gordon's okay with it, and Rashford is less okay with it in the past, at least at Man United. I feel like that's the type of thing where if there's true competition for the spot, you don't want to bring the guy. And I feel like that's part of the Trent thing too. If Trent was completely cool being a backup, I feel like he'd be in this roster. But Trent doesn't want to go if he's not going to be a starter. Same thing with Rashford. I feel like those types of players make it difficult for international coaches to make decisions. I do feel like Gordon or Barnes or Bowen, who all can play left wing, are more okay with competing for the spot and supporting whoever wins than Rashford or Trent. So we'll see.
If you ask me, I would prefer to use somebody like Rashford or Anthony Gordon on the left side than using a Kopama, because those guys will be more effective. Even Harvey Barnes will even do much better playing from the left flank. But for Kopama, it's either you play him as a right winger or he plays as a number 10. That's where
and I'll say this: he's not going to play as right winger because Saka is just so good, and Saka is like one of the best players in the team, and Kane, and they're both okay with okay if you rest them, but they're both.
But Joe, Saka has not been that impressive this season. He has been off and on this season. This season has not been that great for him.
Club form does not inform international form. He has not had his best season. He's had one of his poorest seasons, but he won't care because Arsenal's winning. A lot of times he's double teamed, so he doesn't care because the other Arsenal attackers, he's by far the best one. And Arteta's played so conservative. I feel like his form in England has not changed, and international form and club form are two very different things. I feel like Saka has not done nothing on his international form to lose that spot, and he is a leader and a great mentality to have in that locker room. So, and has a great connection with Kane on the international team. We'll see though. That's why they play. Let me close out by asking our standard questions. Number one, the Ariel tackle, was it a red, and what can we do to enforce to help refs catch these things? Number two, George and I were doing a lot of discussion about the England starting lineup. Who's that third center midfielder? Is their midfield Rice, Henderson, and Anderson? Is Bellingham in there? Is it a diamond? Or I guess it's Rice, Henderson. Anderson's in there. Who starts on the left for England? We've thrown out a lot of names. Probably not Cole Palmer based on what George says. Is it Anthony Gordon? Is it Harvey Barnes? Is it Gerard Bowen? Is it Marcus Rashford? A lot of talent there. A lot of excitement there. Who starts in the central attacking midfield? Or do they play three just plain center midfielders? Is that center attacking midfielders? That can be Bellingham, Palmer, Foden. Again, a lot of great talent. This team's going to look very different. Please let us know your thoughts. Thank you for listening.